Emerging markets led the pack last week on renewed trade optimism. The seventh round of trade talks began on Tuesday between the US and China. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin stated that the administration had reached a deal with Beijing around currency manipulation, which he said was one of the strongest agreements ever on currency. On Friday, President Trump announced that he was considering extending the March 1st deadline. As a result, stocks faded some on the news that an official deal had not been reached. However, on Sunday, President Trump tweeted that he had made substantial progress in talks and consequently would be postponing the March 1st deadline to a future date. After all the rumors in the news last week, the MSCI China Index was able to see a fair amount of gains for the week. This follows after a number of seemingly positive trade news in recent weeks that led to mixed weekly results for the Chinese markets. Currently, the China Index sits with a gain of just over 15% year to date. Back stateside, the FOMC released their January meeting minutes on Wednesday. In these minutes, the Fed reaffirmed that a patient posture would allow time for a clearer picture of the international trade policy situation and the state of the global economy to emerge and, in particular, could allow policymakers to reach a firmer judgment about the extent and persistence of the economic slowdown in Europe and China. Market participants will continue to closely watch the Fed for indications of additional confidence or uncertainty in market conditions. The shift in tone from Jerome Powell's comments made last October following the third interest rate hike were significantly more hawkish than comments made in December ahead of the fourth and final rate hike for the year. The change to a more dovish or accommodative position going into this year occurred rather quickly, without much in the way of substantive economic changes beyond the fourth quarter pullback in the domestic markets. However, the markets have rallied sharply this year, with the Dow Jones average marking its ninth consecutive weekly gain on Friday. This is now the longest consecutive stretch of weekly gains for the Dow in nearly 24 years.